The sea is my church. It's where I go when I need emotional and sensory regulation. It soothes me, calms me, helps me breathe. The vast expanse of water zooms me out of myself and makes me feel connected to something bigger than me. The movement of it, the ebb and flow, its ability to be both wild and calm. For me, being by the water slows down time. The sea has my heart, but I also love rivers, lakes and streams. Anywhere the water moves, it's all connected after all. Being dipped in water, whether salt or fresh, makes me feel like myself when I've lost touch with what that means. I love the beach in summer, when I can swim and float and escape the relentlessness of the summer sun. But I also love the beach in winter, when the elements feel extra close and you can stomp and rage and scream into the wind. The sea doesn't care how you feel or how you look or what you say. You can bring your whole self to the water and be soothed and cleansed and made new again. The sea can hold space for all of you, no matter what. Would you like to make another zine with me today? So 3 months ago, I made a zine on this channel for Friends of the Haus. Basically, they give me a little bit of money every single month to make sure that I can carry on making YouTube videos, making the art that I make, for which I am incredibly grateful. And as a little thank you, once a quarter, I put together a sort of loosely themed list of recommendations for that particular season. Books, movies, podcasts, music, stuff to do, something to drink, just a lovely little collection of things that I really love. Last season, which was for the spring equinox, I made it as a digital zine and it was so much fun. I recorded it for this channel, I'll link it. It was so much fun, I had such a great time. I thought, fuck it, you know what? I'm gonna do it again this season. It is of course summer solstice, and for this season's zine, I wanna do something beachy, boaty, watery themed. Obviously, I'm not going to show you the recommendations because that's exclusive content for the Friends of the Haus. But of course, you can sign up to become a Friend of the Haus. The links are all in the description box and I hope that you will. But I'll show you the shell of the zine with all the decorative elements before I put the recommendations in. Let's just get on with it, shall we? Enough talk. For this collection of recommendations, the theme is sort of water, but it's particularly a sort of beachy, boaty, watery thing. I was initially drawn by the idea of messing about in boats, which has always been one of my absolute favourite things to do in the summer. When I lived in Cornwall in my early 20s, one of my favourite things to do was to go out on the Helford River. The Helford River is where Daphne du Maurier's book Frenchman's Creek was based. Frenchman's Creek is actually a real creek that comes off the Helford River. It's one of my favourite places in the entire world, and I was lucky enough to go back there a couple of years ago and take Lars to show him. The water in the river, because it's surrounded by these beautiful like wooded banks, the trees and the reflections in the water are the most incredible intense green, which is why I've chosen this particular green for the lettering. And one of my absolute favourite things to do, my first husband's dad had a little boat which was a little like bathtub with an outboard motor basically, and we used to go and spend days out, like take a picnic, spend days out on the river catching mackerel. And there's something about the quality of the air, like the texture of the air when you're on the water, and you're constantly in motion but in a very gentle way, like you're rocking as other boats go by and there's a wake and you're bobbing about on the surface of the water, like that floating sensation. I think it's one of the most meditative sensations that exist. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about sort of boaty things, and I was thinking about my relationship with the sea and that same sort of like floating weightless sensation that you get from swimming in the sea and being surrounded by the salt water and how it sort of buoys you up. I was thinking about how not only like just being in the bathtub, you know, just being in and around water particularly when it's hot. A lot of my sensory issues are exacerbated by heat. And often the only time that I can like get through a summer, like a hot summer, especially if there's a heat wave or something, is by being in or near water pretty much all the time. It's such a sort of regulatory thing for me. It does something to my nervous system that very few other things do. And I wanted to capture that in the zine and in the recommendations this month.
Take you anywhere we've never been. Let's go, 'cause I need a friend like you. When it gets cold, I wanna warm you. When it gets dark, I wanna light your way. I do anything for you. Call you out anytime you feel down.
So like we did last time, I want to go through some old sketchbooks and pull out, I know I've got some boaty, fishy, watery themed stuff going on. So I'm just going to pull down some sketchbooks and have a look through and see what I can use. I know there's one piece in particular, which I can see right here, which I want to use as the front cover, I think. This is one of my favourite sketchbook pieces. Whoops! And nobody ever gets to see it because it's tucked away inside my sketchbook. And I think it's such a glorious piece. I can't wait to share it. So we're definitely going to use that one. And then I think also in here, there's some fishy bits that I'll use as well. I just had to stop. Lars got home and he's talking to the cats now, so you might hear him. I do have this, and then I have a couple, another boaty piece there. I also have this, which is kind of surreal, but I love it, so it might make it in. I've got some more fishies there. So I have a few odds and sods lying around in sketchbooks which may or may not make it in. I think a lot of them are already scanned, but I'll have a look. One of the things that I love about the Friends of the House, like I call them Friends of the House for a reason, you know. These people are incredibly special to me. They've chosen to give me their hard-earned money in order for me to keep doing the things that I do, and for that depth of meaning, you know, depth of connection, that people believe enough in what I'm doing in the world to actually give me their cash. That's such a sacred thing to me, and I'm always looking for ways to further that connection and by sharing parts of myself with this community, and to be able to share this experience of what water means to me, whether it's being on a boat in the river or whether it's visiting the beach or swimming in the sea or just like having a bath, to be able to share that with people that have this connection with my work as a whole, that feels really, really special. I've made the Friends of the House deliberately to not be a content farm. You don't sign up for more content, you sign up to support all of the stuff that I already do, whether that's the house itself, the website, which if you haven't visited, I highly recommend it. Also the newsletter that I produce every week, the videos that I do on here, the podcast when that's active. I have an awful lot of stuff that comes out of me, and that's before we even get into the actual artwork. Because of course that is a huge part of this as well. I get to make the art that I want to make that is meaningful to me and that isn't necessarily the most commercial thing. I mean, Things Men Have Said to Me Instead of Hello is not the most commercial collection, but I was able to make it because I have the support of people who believe in my vision and what I want to create and send into the world. The work that I'm called to make. I'm incredibly fortunate to have people that believe in me that way. So sharing this piece of myself, not so much as extra content, but more as art, and sharing the things I love with the people who care, like that means a lot to me. I love being able to do this, and I really am so excited that I'm able to do it, spend a little bit more time this year and make it into a zine, into a lovely interactive experience for people. Even if it's just like a digital virtual one, it's still a really lovely thing to be able to offer up. Hello, it is a new day. I finished the zine and I thought we could take a look at what I came up with. And also I have company in the studio today. Look at Luli. So we start with the front cover, and obviously this was the sketch that I wanted to use that sort of sparked the idea for the zine in the first place. It's really nice to see it like this. It looks exactly how I imagined it would. I think it makes a really cool cover. I really love these end papers. These are just little fish sketches that I pulled out of my sketchbook and turned into a repeating pattern. And I really love all the different colours, the pop of blue and the pop of red, orange, which kind of repeats all the way through the zine. I got to use the opticus for the films section, which seemed to be appropriate, of course. This is such a silly sketch and it just makes me giggle every time I see it. And this is a photograph that I took of Grieve Beach, which is where we did the beachcombing. And then I added this little boat down in the right-hand corner. Another sketch from my sketchbook, just of a little fishing boat, but I thought it adds a little whimsy to the beautiful scene. And then we have the results of the beachcombing. I didn't actually use as much as I thought I would, but I'm so glad that I picked up all these different varieties of seaweed, and they scanned really nicely. I've just played with the colours and it's given a real sort of organic feel to this page. They look kind of ethereal. I like to include a full painting or a full sketch in the zines. I did this with a spring one as well. These are obviously mackerel, and I was of two minds to include this because I was feeling like, is this more foodie than boaty? But one of the core memories that inspired this zine was catching mackerel on the Helford River. And then of course we'd bring it home and we'd eat it, and it was just mwah, absolutely delicious. So this feels actually very fitting for this particular zine. And I love the colour of these bubbles. They've got that real kind of ocean depth vibe to them. I really love how this page looks like seaweed. It looks like you're sort of peering through the fronds. That's really cool. I like that vibe. And here's some more of the beachcombing spoils, just this collection of white shells. I thought they looked beautiful against the green. And then another piece of seaweed as well. And when the text is in, which obviously you can't see here, it frames the text really beautifully. And then of course we have the fishy end paper again. And this photograph, which is from the basement of the Maritime Museum in Falmouth. where they have big windows where you can look out under the water, and they have these big ropes of seaweed which have all sorts of things living in them. And I just think it is absolutely astonishing. This photograph is incredible, and seeing it live was amazing as well. And then of course we have the back cover, which is the other side of that gorgeous boat painting from the beginning. And that's it. Obviously the completed zine is going to be full of images specific to the recommendations and also text and various other things, but this gives you an idea of what it might look like. If you would like to get your hands on a copy for yourself, then all you need to do is come over to my website, Zuzu's House of Cats /patronage, and use... Can you hear that? Lily, I'm recording, can you shush? All you need to do is to come over to zuzushouseofcats.com /patronage and sign up for the Culture Vulture tier, and that will give you digital copies of not only this zine but also the spring equinox one, which came out in March. If you stay a friend, then you'll also get the autumn equinox and winter solstice zines and a whole bunch of other perks as well. Thank you for joining me. Please like it if you liked it, leave me a comment, subscribe, all the things. Put your bell notifications on so you get notified whenever I post, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah. Bye!